this because I can only tell so much.
Sure. So, Un deux trois Petit Pas is basically about teaching French to parents and infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. And so the goal is really to ensure that any parent in Ottawa has the ability to introduce French to their little ones before they enter school, whether or not they actually know any French themselves before they begin. And so it's really just because Ottawa is such a bilingual city. And so as parents, we want the best for our children, and we know how important it is to speak both English and French in the city. And so oftentimes, even if a parent speaks only English, they still want their child to be able to speak French. But that can be really hard to do if you don't have any resources or any support. And so oftentimes parents just kind of go, okay, we'll put them into French or French immersion school, and then they hope for the best. But the goal is really to make sure that the parent can play a role in their education as well, because that I find is like a link it's really missing in the education system. If the child goes to school and doesn't use French anywhere else and with anybody outside of school, then it's not going to be super helpful, because they're only going to just think, oh, it's just a school subject, that French, and then they don't really use it to communicate, which is the best part of speaking a language.
Well, and it's so cool too because I mean, kids when they're like young and they're toddlers, they're like sponges, like they absorb everything. So it's the perfect time to teach it.
Exactly. So that's another thing too, is that if parents do wait until school, they've missed this huge language development age. Like 0 to 3 is the time when their language learning will never be easier than it is at that time. It's just what their brain is meant to do during that period of time, and they don't even know they're doing it. I think you have a toddler too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
so it's
16.
just okay, awesome. So you just know, it like blows your mind how they pick up on these words and things that you would never know, like, but I teach that? And it's just because everything is just, it comes so naturally to them. And so it's really a shame for parents who aren't able to really introduce French before school, because they don't get to take advantage of that. And so the hope is any of our little graduates of Un deux trois Petit Pas, they go into school having this base knowledge and having memories of, well, first of all, it's fun, and also they have used it with their parents.
No, it's so cool. So what drove you to start this business? Like how long have you been doing it? What kind of made this your passion project?
So I just mentioned I have a toddler, so he's 2.5. I started Un deux trois Petit Pas on my maternity leave. Well, the idea came on my maternity leave. Prior to that, I was a French immersion teacher here in Ottawa. And so it's kind of like I took my French teaching skills and motherhood and kind of combined the two together and made Un deux trois Petit Pas.
No, that's so cool. Now, whereabouts in the city are you located? I know I've looked, but I mean, pregnancy brain, everything goes through my head right now.
So I actually am all over the place. I actually also there's 4 other teachers on my Un deux trois Petit Pas team. And so we've covered the big major neighborhoods, I guess, of Ottawa. I started in Westboro, Hintonburg, and Canada. And now we've also added Barrhaven, Orleans, Nepean, Old Ottawa South, and we continue to expand as long as we find that there's an interest. We try to bring a class to the area, and as a mom, I know how you really want to do things that are close and easy to get to. So I didn't want to have everybody have to come to one specific location in the city. I wanted to bring the service to as many of the neighborhoods as possible.
Very cool. So you've had quite a bit of rapid growth with it then.
Yeah, so it's only been a year and a half because, as I mentioned, I started it right as soon as my maternity leave was over. And so I think that it's such a big need here in the city for French programming, especially for little ones. And there isn't much of it's the only thing that I could find that bridges that gap between birth and going to school. And that's kind of also why I started it, was because I went searching for it for me and my son. Yeah. And when I couldn't find it, I thought, okay, well, I'm a French teacher. I'll just give it a go, see if this is something other people would be interested in. And it seems like it is. So I'm really happy that I'm able to to fill a demand or a need.
Very cool. And where do you see your growth going next? Like, what's your goals for the next year, the next couple of years, kind of thing with this?
So we'll continue to kind of grow and add classes whenever we're approached by, I guess, families from different areas of the city, for one. There's another side project that I'm working on right now, and that's running French circle times for daycares. And so that kind of came about because I'd have parents who would finish their maternity leaves and they'd be sad they couldn't join our weekly classes. We do have weekend classes, but sometimes it's too busy for people. And so their child would go off to a daycare and they'd be like, well, what if you came to their daycare? And so I just kind of started doing that. And then the other teachers are starting to add that to their schedules as well. And so with that, it's just to make sure that even if a daycare isn't a French daycare or it's not bilingual, they still, the little ones will still have some opportunity to learn French during the week. And so there's that side of things, which I'm super excited about. And then I'm also working on making an online course. And so that is my hope with that is, well, we can meet a lot more families because it's a really big need everywhere in Canada, I find. It's a bilingual country and the struggles of learning French seem to be everywhere. And so if I can help as many more families as possible, that would be great. And then also because sometimes I have, especially like new moms or new dads who their nap schedules are all over the place, but they're really eager to learn. And sometimes they're like, oh man, I can't sign up because I don't know when they'll be napping. If it was in the comfort of their own home, then it would be something that they would be able to do even if they were napping or feeding, or even if they were cranky that day, nobody knows. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now in terms of growing into a Petit Pas.
That's awesome. And I mean, it's actually funny that you say that because I've had so many conversations with people lately that when you've got young kids, like someone's got a different nap schedule all the time, and it's so unpredictable to when you can leave the house and do things. And so anything virtual is phenomenal.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'm getting to work on that. But I heard you when I first came online saying that you got your toddler to bed just like 10 minutes before, and I was 2 minutes before. So I also am like I'm working during his nap time. I'm working during the evening. So the life of a mom entrepreneur. I'll see how long it takes me, but I'm really trying my best to get the service out there.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, I wrote an article recently about, nap time and bedtime are sacred times of the day.
Yes.
If you don't get that as your work time, it's game over.
Exactly. It's like as soon as he goes down, I'm like, okay, even if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm holding it.
Yeah. No, right now I'm too pregnant for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Now, one question I really like to ask everyone, because you get such good advice and such great answers out of it, is this whole idea of the work-life balance and being able to balance your career dreams with obviously the demands of being a mom. So what is your best advice for someone else who's trying to do what you're doing and start their own business? Because, I mean, especially moms on maternity leave in Canada, that's when the brain power strikes.
Yes. So I'm still learning myself. There's been times when I've realized, I guess one of the major things that I've really learned is to choose what you're going to focus on and to just focus on that. If you concentrate on, I have to do this and this and this, because we have to-do lists that are so long as a mom and an entrepreneur. If you think about all of them at the same time and you try and do a little bit of everything, you'll end up feeling like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything, and you can't cross anything off that list. But if you make yourself a list, and what I've been doing is I prioritize. So this thing that is the most important, put it at the top. When that's done, you go on to the next thing. So for me, that's kind of how I just make sure that even if my brain is all over the place, I've got like this list that I can follow. And so for me, that's something that I make sure when I have that sacred time, I get something done. In terms of the work-life balance, I have a very patient husband who is watching right now. And no, it's been tough because the time when it's easiest to work is when my son is in bed, and so we try and we'll plan like a date night as often as we can just to make sure that we have that time with ourselves, with our own relationship. And then what I do with my son when he's awake and he needs my attention, I don't work because I won't get anything done anyways. And that's where the frustration kind of comes into play. And then, so what I do is I just go, okay, you know, he needs me now. I'm not going to work. When he's asleep, I will work and I'll get much more done then anyways. And then everybody's a lot happier. So, yeah.
Yep. No, that's fantastic advice. And I'm slowly learning that same curve that, yeah, just don't even bother when they're awake because
Yeah.
you're not going to win that
Not going
battle.
to happen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. You've got, I mean, I've posted your Instagram handle and your website's linked through your Instagram. So for anyone who's trying to learn more about engaging their toddler in French or wants to try one of your classes, I've seen some of your videos and stuff, and it looks like such a fun opportunity and just to naturally teach your kid.
Yeah, thank you. If anybody does want to try it out, actually, there's a new play cafe, the Wild Child Coffee Project.
Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome. And so I'm actually going to be running a demo there this Friday from 10 to 10:30. So it's free if anybody wants to come by and check out a class and also check out the awesome new cafe. Then that's where we could talk more afterwards if you wanted to. But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
awesome. I'm going to make a note of that to see if I can fit it into my calendar and all that dreaded nap time nonsense.
Well, that would be great, but if not, I definitely understand.
Yes, I'll be doing more after baby number 2 gets here.
Also very understandable.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. And like, it's so much fun to do these things. So
Yeah.
this will stay live for the next 24 hours for anyone who missed this. And like I said, all your social media links are there and your website's linked through your Instagram. So send any questions your way.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
Yes.